This is the Book of Beginnings, a gateway to understanding the roots of humanity and the divine connection that binds us all. It's a story about where we come from, where we belong, and the intricate threads that weave us into a larger tapestry of existence. It's called First Chronicles, a book that might seem like just another historical account at first glance, but it's so much more than that. Written thousands of years ago, it carries timeless truths and lessons that resonate even today. This book is about real people, families who faced challenges, celebrated victories, and endured heartbreaks. It's a mirror reflecting the human experience. It's the story of God's people, their struggles, their faith, and their journey to fulfill a divine purpose. And at the heart of it all is someone extraordinary, King David, a figure who embodies courage, leadership, and devotion. First Chronicles begins with genealogies that might seem overwhelming at first, a long list of names and lineages. But these genealogies are like a giant family tree, connecting generations and telling the story of humanity's roots. They remind us of the passage of time, the interconnectedness of life, and the divine plan that stretches back to the very beginning. It's a reminder that we're all part of a greater story, a community bound by shared history and purpose. We belong to something far bigger than ourselves, a narrative that transcends time and space. And then there's King David, a central figure whose life is a testament to the complexities of faith and leadership. He's the heart of First Chronicles, a shepherd who rose to become a king, a warrior, and a man after God's own heart. We see him as a young shepherd tending his flock, a brave warrior fighting for his people, and ultimately a powerful king who led with wisdom and strength. But David's story isn't just about power or victories. It's about his humanity, his faith, his failures, and his redemption. It's a story of God's unwavering love, a love that remains steadfast through triumphs and trials alike. So come journey with us as we step into the past. Let's uncover the stories, meet the characters, and discover the timeless wisdom and profound truths woven through the pages of First Chronicles. The book starts at the very beginning, with Adam. Yes, that Adam, the first man. The writer wants us to see the long line of people that came before, leading all the way to Abraham, the father of the Jewish people. It's like they're saying, we're all connected, from generation to generation. Next, we meet the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These are the founding fathers, the ones who made covenants with God. Each generation built upon the one before, their faith tested and strengthened along the way. We see their flaws, their mistakes, but also their unwavering belief in something bigger than themselves. These stories, passed down through generations, remind us that faith is a journey, not a destination. It's about trusting in God's promises, even when we don't understand His plan. And just like the patriarchs, we're called to walk by faith, trusting that God is with us every step of the way. Remember Jacob? Well, he had 12 sons, and they became the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Now these weren't just any tribes, they were chosen by God to be a special people, a light to the nations. Each tribe had its own territory, its own identity, but together they formed a nation, bound by their covenant with God. But let's be real, these weren't always the most well-behaved children. They fought amongst themselves, disobeyed God, and faced one challenge after another. But through it all, God remained faithful. He never abandoned His promise to make them a great nation. The story of the 12 tribes is a powerful reminder that God can do extraordinary things with ordinary people. It's a story about faith, forgiveness, and second chances. It reminds us that even when we stumble and fall, God's love and grace are always there to lift us up and set us back on the right path. Section 4. The Ark finds its home. David's rise to power. This is where David enters the scene, a young boy from humble beginnings in the small town of Bethlehem. He wasn't born a king though, far from it. David was the youngest of 8 sons, a shepherd tending his father's flock. His days were spent in the fields, watching over sheep, often in solitude. Yet, God saw something special in him, something no one else could see. In the quiet moments of his life, David's heart was being prepared for greatness. He was chosen, anointed by the prophet Samuel to be the future king of Israel. This moment marked the beginning of a journey that would change history. David's rise to power is, well, a classic underdog story. A shepherd boy overlooked by many, destined for a throne. He faced giants literally when he defeated the Philistine champion Goliath. Armed with just a slingshot and unwavering faith, he triumphed against impossible odds. This victory wasn't just about strength or skill, it was a testament to his courage, his leadership, and his unwavering faith in God's power. But David's journey wasn't easy. The path to the throne was fraught with challenges. He faced betrayal, loss, and constant threats from his enemies. At times he was forced to flee for his life, hiding in caves and wilderness. Through it all, David never lost sight of God. In his darkest moments he turned to prayer, finding strength and guidance in his faith. He knew that his strength came not from his own abilities, but from the one who had chosen him. His faith was his anchor. David's story is a testament to the power of faith and humility. It's a reminder that greatness often begins in the most unexpected places. It reminds us that God sees us, not for who we are now, but for who we can become through him. David's life is proof that faith can move mountains. Section 5, a king after God's own heart. David eventually became king, uniting all the tribes of Israel. He was a warrior, a poet, a musician, and a man after God's own heart. He made Jerusalem his capital and brought the Ark of the Covenant, a symbol of God's presence, to the city. During David's reign, Israel flourished. They experienced peace and prosperity. But David, despite his successes, was not without flaws. He made mistakes, grave ones, that had devastating consequences. Yet, even in his darkest moments, David turned to God in repentance. His story reminds us that God's love and forgiveness are available to all who seek him with a sincere heart. David's life, with its triumphs and tragedies, teaches us that true greatness lies not in our perfection, but in our willingness to acknowledge our imperfections and seek God's mercy. Section 6. Passing the torch. The reign of Solomon. David's son Solomon inherited the throne, stepping into a legacy of great responsibility. Solomon was known for his wisdom, a gift that would define his reign and legacy. God appeared to him in a dream, asking him what he desired most in his heart. Solomon's request was simple. Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong, a request rooted in humility. Impressed by his humility, God granted Solomon wisdom beyond measure, a wisdom unmatched in history. During Solomon's reign, Israel experienced a golden age of peace and prosperity, a time of unparalleled growth. He built the temple in Jerusalem, a magnificent structure that became the center of worship for the Israelites, symbolizing their faith. Solomon's story highlights the importance of seeking wisdom, especially in positions of leadership and influence. It reminds us that true wisdom comes from God and that it's through his guidance that we can lead with justice, compassion, and integrity, leaving a lasting impact. Section 7, Echoes of the Past, Lessons for Today. So why does all of this matter today? Why should we pause and reflect on these ancient texts, written so long ago yet still resonating with us now? Why should we care about these ancient stories? Because they hold timeless truths, truths that guide us, challenge us, and inspire us to live with purpose. 1 Chronicles isn't just about the past, it's about who we are and what we're called to be. It's a bridge connecting us to the faith of those who came before us. It's a reminder that we all belong to something bigger than ourselves, a community of believers spanning generations and cultures. We're part of a story that began long ago, a story of faith, courage, and God's enduring love. This story is still unfolding, and we are invited to play our part. Whether you're a king or a shepherd, someone in a position of power, or someone quietly serving in the background, a leader or a follower, each of us has a role to play in this divine narrative. Each of us brings something unique to the table, contributing to the rich tapestry of God's plan for humanity. 1 Chronicles challenges us to live lives of purpose, to seek wisdom, to lead with integrity, and to embrace the values that define our faith. It calls us to trust in God's plan, even when the path ahead seems unclear or daunting. Even when we don't understand it, we are reminded that God's wisdom surpasses our own. It's a timeless message of hope, a beacon of light in a world that often feels dark and uncertain. It reminds us that even in a world filled with uncertainties, there is a constant, a God who is steadfast and unchanging, a God who knows us by name, who loves us unconditionally, and who calls us to walk in faith and love. And as we walk this journey, we are never alone. God walks with us every step of the way, guiding us, comforting us, and reminding us of his eternal promises.